Hi students. So now that you have an idea of or you have been introduced to a network layer, let us see one of the most interesting topic in network layer, that is the packet switching. So as you understood by now, at the network layer some sort of switching happens. Your router actually has got all the three layers, that is the physical layer, data link layer and the network layer. So this router creates some sort of a connection between the input and the output port. You have studied that there are two types of switching, that is packet switching and circuit switching. So as the name suggests, in a network layer, as it is a packet is used, the data unit is a packet, so only packet switching is used and not circuit switching. Circuit switching is used in the physical layer. Now in the network layer, what happens is whatever message comes from the upper layer is divided into small packets, and these packets think that they are each is sent through the network. Okay. Now at the destination, what should happen? The network layer in the destination, it has to wait for all the packets of the same message before it is delivered to the upper layer. Now, it is this connecting device in the packet switch network that is the one which helps to route, that is, from the source to the destination, what route the packet has to take. That is decided by the connecting devices, which you have already studied. What you know already what is the connecting device. This packet switch network, it can take two approaches, that is the connectionless approach or the connectionless service or the connection oriented service. You might have heard this repeatedly in the class previously or in the online lecture. The connectionless service is also known as the datagram approach, and the connection oriented service is also known as the virtual circuit approach. Let us see this now one by one. The first one is the datagram approach or the connectionless service. As the name suggests, connectionless. Here we are not speaking about the true physical connection, whether there is connection or not like that. Here connectionless refers to packets. I repeat, connectionless refers to how the network layer protocol is treating each packet of a message. So here the connectionless means that each packet does not have any connection. That means each of the packet is treated independently, or to make it more clear, each packet in a message can travel any path, but finally they have to reach the destination. For example, from the source to destination, if there are say 5 to 6 paths, so each packet of the same message can travel any path as they like, or depending on some certain condition, but they have to finally reach the destination. So here what the network layer is responsible is, it just delivers the packet from the source to destination. So this packet may be belonging to a message, may be followed by a packet belonging to the same message or a different message. Okay, but from the source, so what happens is the packet should finally reach its destination. So packets may be going in different paths, and these packets may be from the same message or from the different message, but it may be from the same source. Got it? So here the main idea is each packet is going independent, is treated independently, and it can take whichever path, it can take any path. It's not that all the packets of the message will go in the same path. Nothing like that. Nothing to get confused here. Everything will become very clear when you see the diagram. So this is what I said till now. It becomes very clear in this diagram. So think that this is the sender, that is the source, and down you can see here is the receiver or the destination. So think that the network layer of the sender and the network layer of the receiver are communicating. So the network layer of the sender, think that it has got four packets. So you can see here the packet 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you can see the direction. So in the path you can see that there are totally 5 routers. So whatever it be, it reaches the first router first. So you can see that the destination or the receiver, the router connected to it is router 5. But you can see that there are many ways in which the packet can go. You can observe here that the packet 1 is moving from router 1 to router 4, and then it is going to router 5. What about packet 2? The packet is 2 is going from router 1 to router 2, and then it is going to from router 2 to router 5, and then it is going. What about packet 3? It is going from router 1 to router 3, and then it is going yeah it packet 3 is going from router 1 to router 3, then router 3 to router 4, and then from router 4 to router 5. And the packet 4 is just going from router 1 to router 3, router 3 to router 5, and then finally it is going. You can see here that the receiver is receiving the packets in out of order. It may come in the same order, but it is there are high chances that it may receive out of the order. But still, the network layer will wait for all the packets coming from the same message before it has to deliver to the upper layer. Okay, but what you observed here, each packet, when we say connectionless or treated independently, each packet of a message, or it could be from the different message also, that we are not worried here. So each packet, be it of the same message or different message, is treated independently, and it can take any path. So now finally it has to each packet finally it has to go to the destination. So how to it will reach the destination? So each packet will have some extra information, that is nothing but it is contained in the header. What does the header contain? It contains the source and the destination address. So what basically the packet has to reach the destination. Now you may be thinking destination address is enough. Of course, the router will see the packet. It will see the packet's destination address and it will route accordingly. But sometimes what happens is sometimes the packet should have the source address, because in case there is an error and if the packet gets discarded, this error message has to be sent back to the source. Only for that purpose the source address must be contained. You can see here in this slide. So think that this is one, what I am circling is one of the packet, and the packet has got of course the data and the header, that is it should contain SA stands for source address and DA stands for destination address. So based on this, what does the router do is the router has something known as the forwarding table. So it sees the destination address. Okay, now the destination address, think that it is B. Okay, so destination is B. So what it will do is it came through port 1, and then the router will send it through port 2. Okay, so that's what it is doing. So send the packet out of the interface 2, and then it will reach the destination. So by seeing the forwarding table and seeing the destination address, it will route this and it will push out of that particular interface. So here the forwarding decision is based on the destination address of the packet. Hope this is very clear. So it's a very interesting and a very simple concept, that is the datagram approach or the connectionless service. So the idea is very simple. All the packets, each packet is treated independently and they can take any of the path, but finally it has to reach the destination, and based on the forwarding table, the destination address, the packets are forwarded. Now we go to the next one, that is the connection oriented service from the next slide. In case you want to take a pause, you can take a pause of this video and then come back and see the next topic, the continuation actually of the topic, that is the connection oriented service. Now coming to the virtual circuit approach or the connection oriented service. Here the network layer will treat all the packets belonging to the single message as though there is a relation between all these packets of a message. So as the name suggests, connection oriented service, all the packets of a same message will follow the same path. Now if that has to happen, there should be some sort of a virtual connection, or you have to set up a path from the source to the destination so that all the packets of the message follow the same path. Since we are setting up some sort of a virtual circuit, it is also known as virtual circuit approach. So a virtual connection is set up from the source to the destination. Once that is done, all the datagrams or the packets, they can follow the same path. The packet will definitely, since it has to reach the destination and since even the source address is needed, definitely all the packets will contain the source and the destination address. But that is not enough in a connection oriented service. Also, an additional something known as the flow label or the virtual circuit identifier should also be present. Okay, you will understand this in the forthcoming slides why just the destination address is not needed, but a virtual circuit identifier or a label or a flow label is needed. Because as I told you, virtual circuit approach, so we are going to set up a virtual circuit. So a path must be created, so that path identifier is nothing but is the flow label. Anyway, we'll get to know it further. So you can see here, so what happened previously and what is this the in the connectionless and the connection oriented, can you see the difference? So here you have a sender and here you have the receiver. You can see that whatever be that path, all the packets of the message are following the same path. All the packets of the same message will follow the same path. If it is different message, it can take this path or another path. We will understand this soon. So you can see here, right? So all the four packets of the message are following the same path. That is, it is going from the sender to R1, R1 to R3, R3 to R4, and then the receiver. Here you can see in the table that so when a incoming packet comes to the router, so the router's forwarding table has something known as the incoming table, incoming column and the outgoing column. So here it will see the label and based on the label, the incoming label, the outgoing label is checked and the incoming label is replaced by the outgoing label. Okay, and then it routes accordingly to that port. So it came from port 1 means it will go to port 2. So this is happening during the data transfer phase. But before that, we should understand how these entries in the table takes place. We'll get to know all that soon. So in a connection oriented service, so three phases are needed. So one is the setup phase, and next is the data transfer phase, and third one is the teardown phase. Now what is the setup phase? As I told you, all the packets in the message must follow the same path. So we need to set up a virtual circuit. So in the setup phase, the source and the destination address of the sender and the receiver are used, and based on this you saw there one table now, so that forwarding table. So in that the entries of the table are made for the connection oriented service. So this helps in making the entries and then help and thus helping in the setting up of the path. Next is the data transfer, that is the normal passing of the data from the source to the destination. Then the teardown phase. Now this, once a message is sent from the sender to the receiver, all the packets of message are sent from the sender to the receiver. This virtual setup which is done has to be broken down so that the next message can be sent. So for to do that, all the entries which have been entered for this particular message or the packets of this one message have to be deleted. So this is done in the teardown phase. So basically three-phase process: setup, data transfer and teardown. So the first phase in the connection oriented phase is the setup phase. Here, as we need to have a connection or sort of a virtual circuit from the source to the destination, so the router has to make some entry in the forwarding table of the routers so that this virtual circuit is created. So since we need to have such sort of a setup, two packets or two auxiliary packets are need to be exchanged between the sender and the receiver so that this setup phase will create the virtual circuit. One of the packet is the request packet that is sent from the sender to the receiver, and the other one is known as the acknowledgement packet that is sent from the destination back to the source. Now you can observe here in this figure is the first one, that is the request packet. What the request packet does. So when the network layer that of the sender, that is of the A, sends the request packet, that is this packet will have the address, that is the source address A and the destination address B. Also there will be something incoming label. Okay. So what this forwarding table at the router does is it makes three entries. So somehow think that for time being that when it sees that the destination address is B, it will know that it think that now for time being it knows that the outgoing port is 3. So 3 and outgoing port is 3. So in this forwarding table only 3 entries are made, that is the incoming port, that is port 1 as you can see here for the router 1, and one label, label, that is unused label, say 14 here in this case, that 14 one label is being attached to the request packet, and outgoing port, that is port number 3. These three entries, that is incoming port number, label number, and the port outgoing port number, these three entries are made in the forwarding table of the router. Now this request packet will move from router 1 to the next one, that is the router 3, which is at the connected to the port number 3 of the R1. Now, when the same process is continued, repeated in the forwarding table of the router 3. Now, what happened for the router 3? For it the incoming port was port 1, so that port is made, and during the process of transmission between router 1 and router 2, the label of has been 66. So this path will attach a unused label. So the incoming label would have been for this request packet would have been say 66. So that entry is made in the incoming label, and you can see here that since for the destination, since the packet has to move to B, it knows that it has to go through port 3. So that entry is made seeing the contents of the request packet, and this process continues. So it will go through port 3, and again during this process some unused label is being attached to the request packet or the auxiliary packet, and again in the router R4 it makes the three entries that it again it came from the port for R4, the incoming port was 1, and some label 22 unused label was attached to the packet, and then you can see that since it has to go through to the destination, that is it which is attached to port 4, so that entry is also made. What you can see here is all the 4 entries are not made, only 3 entries are made. But you know that for the data to move from source to destination, all the 4 entries are to be made. So how to do that? That is done in the acknowledgement packet, which is done in the setup phase. You can see here that this is the acknowledgement phase, acknowledgement packet that is done in the setup phase. So you can see here, this is a reverse. You can see in the previous slide, you could have seen that the direction, I should have mentioned that, was from the source to the destination. But now you can see here it is in the reverse way, that is from the destination to the source. Now this destination acknowledgement packet will attach one label 77, and now this becomes fixed. So now this would be the what to say, actually it may be the incoming packet for R4 for time being, but that entry will be made in the outgoing packet. Now this acknowledgement packet will have the information of the global address, or that is the destination address and the source address. So that information it will carry. So it's an acknowledgement packet. So based on that, the source and the destination address, which it should have an information about. Based on that, so now this 77 label is now entered into the outgoing label of the routing table, and then you can see that. So now it knows that the label that has to be attached is 22. Where this 22 came, already this entry was made in the request packet. I hope this now becomes very clear. So now again it now whatever is the incoming port which was previously for the request packet, now though it here it's seen as incoming, now it is the reverse, it becomes the outgoing label for the acknowledgement. So now it became 22. So now this 22 is entered in the outgoing. I think this is very clear. For the acknowledgement, the outgoing becomes the incoming and the incoming becomes the outgoing. But the entry has to be very so that the data transfer, that the original data, how it transfers from the source to the destination. So to help that, so these entries are made. So this is very simple. So then again it continues. So what happened? Now the label has to be 66. So entry label was 22. So that entry is made here. Then now the outgoing is 66. Though it is in the incoming, for the acknowledgement it is outgoing. Then 66. So this 66 is made as a entry in the final router, that is the R1, which is directly connected to the source. So now you can see that all the four entries are made in the routing tables of R1, R3 and R4. So next is, so we have done with the setup phase. So then the actual data transfer phase we have to see now. So this is the data. So as I told you, the data consists of the packet. Since the data transfer phase means the packet has to be transmitted from the sender to the receiver. So the packet will have not only the data, it will have of course the source and the destination address. Also, as I told you, it should have the flow label or the virtual circuit identifier. Now, you should remember that all the packets of the same message incoming, the label will be the same. Once the incoming label is same, rest all will follow and it has to follow the same route, that is A to R1, R1 to R3, R3 to R4 and R4 to the destination. I'll just illustrate that. You can see here this has got the incoming label L1, say it is 14, 14 not L1, it is 14. So what it will do, this router table R1, it sees that the incoming port is L1, the label is 14. So it will push it through the port 3 and the label for the packet is made as 66. Now it is going through port 3, so it will reach router R3. What a router R3 will do, it will make the modification. So that is the packet will have the data, the destination source address won't change. What will happen is it will put the label as 22 for the outgoing. It will change the label from 66 to 22. So now what has happened? From 14 it has changed to 66, 66 to 22 and it is reaching now the R4. What the R4 will see? It saw that it has come from port 1 and the label is 22, so it will push out of port 4 and it will add the label 77 and finally it has reached the destination. This is not just for one packet, for all the packets of the same message this procedure is followed. So think that another packet came and the label incoming label was 14. What it will do? It will do the same thing. It will put another, it will push it through port 3 and it will add that label 66. When again the router R3 sees the label 66, it will put the label 22 and send out of port 3 and this process repeats for all the packets of the same message. I hope this makes it very clear. Next is the last is the teardown phase. So in the teardown phase, what will happen? The source A, after all the packets are sent, it will send one more packet known as the teardown packet. So this teardown packet, what it will do is it will destroy or delete all the entries of the table. So all the entries of the table which was made during the setup phase of the previous message is all deleted. That is the corresponding entries from the table is deleted. So this finishes the interesting topic, that is the packet switching. So what did we study is that the packet switching can be done using two types of services, that is the connectionless and the connection oriented. In the connectionless, all the packets are treated independently and each packet of the same message or different message or whatsoever, it can take any path but finally go to the same destination. What the destination will do for the same message of the different packets of the same message, it will wait and then only it will deliver to the upper layer, be it in connectionless or connection oriented. But in the connection oriented, it will come in the proper order. In the connectionless, it will not come in the proper order. So in the connection oriented, what is done? All the packets are treated as though they have connection with each other. So basically, a virtual circuit is set up between the source and the destination. So to do this or enable this, so we have three phases. That is the setup phase. So setup phase is the one which will actually create the virtual circuit from the source to the destination, and this is done using the request and the acknowledgement packet which you saw. And then is the actual data transfer phase, which will have a look at the forwarding tables and attach the labels accordingly. And then is the teardown phase where a teardown packet is sent and all the entries of the table are deleted. So thank you.